turbine engines. 1. At what point in an axial flow turbojet engine will the highest gas pressures occur? At the compressor outlet. 2. Jet engine turbine blades removed for detailed inspection must be reinstalled in the same slot. 3. Turbine blades are generally more susceptible to operating damage than compressor blades because of exposure to high temperatures. 4. The compression ratio of an axial flow compressor is a function of the number of compressor stages. 5. What is the major function of the turbine assembly in a turbojet engine? Supplies the power to turn the compressor. 6. Newton's first law of motion, generally termed the Law of Inertia, states, every body persists in its state of rest, or of motion in a straight line, unless acted upon by some outside force. 7. What term is used to describe a permanent and cumulative deformation of the turbine blades of a turbojet engine? Creep. 8. Compressor field cleaning on turbine engines is performed primarily in order to prevent engine performance degradation, increased fuel costs, and damage or corrosion to gas path surfaces. 9. Between each row of rotating blades in a turbine engine compressor, there is a row of stationary blades which act to diffuse the air. These stationary blades are called stators. 10. What is the purpose of the diffuser section in a turbine engine? To increase pressure and reduce velocity. 11. When aircraft turbine blades are subjected to excessive heat stress, what type of failures would you expect? Stress rupture. 12. At what stage in a turbine engine are gas pressures the greatest? Compressor outlet. 13. The procedure for removing the accumulation of dirt deposits on compressor blades is called field cleaning. 14. Which of the following may be used to accomplish internal inspection of an assembled turbine engine? 3. A borescope. 3. 15. An advantage of the centrifugal flow compressor is its high pressure rise per stage. 16. What type of turbine blade is most commonly used in aircraft jet engines? Impulse reaction. 17. The air passing through the combustion chamber of a turbine engine is used to support combustion and to cool the engine. 18. In a turbine engine with a dual-spool compressor, the low-speed compressor seeks its own best operating speed. 19. The stators in the turbine section of a gas turbine engine increase the velocity of the gas flow. 20. How does a dual axial flow compressor improve the efficiency of a turbojet engine? Higher compression ratios can be obtained. 21. Which of the following can cause fan blade shingling in a turbofan engine? 1. Engine overspeed. 2. Engine overtemperature. 3. Large, rapid throttle movements. 4. FOD. 1. 4. 22. What is the primary advantage of an axial flow compressor over a centrifugal compressor? Greater pressure ratio. 23. What is used in turbine engines to aid in stabilization of compressor airflow during low-thrust engine operation? Variable guide vanes and/or compressor bleed valves. 24. What is the first engine instrument indication of a successful start of a turbine engine? A rise in the exhaust gas temperature. 25. The function of the exhaust cone assembly of a turbine engine is to straighten and collect the exhaust gases into a solid exhaust jet. 26. Turbine engine components exposed to high temperatures generally may not be marked with 3. Wax or grease pencil. 5. Graphite lead pencil. 3 and 5. 27. Which turbine engine compressor offers the greatest advantages for both starting flexibility and improved high-altitude performance? Split spool, axial flow. 28. Which of the following is the ultimate limiting factor of turbine engine operation? Turbine inlet temperature. 29. A gas turbine engine comprises which three main sections? Turbine, compressor, and combustion. 30. If a turbine engine is unable to reach takeoff EPR before its EGT limit is reached, this is an indication that the compressor may be contaminated or damaged. 1. In a turbine engine axial flow compressor, each consecutive pair of rotor and stator blades constitutes a pressure stage. 2. In a turbine engine axial flow compressor, the number of rows of stages is determined by the amount of air and total pressure rise required. Regarding the above statements, both number 1 and number 2 are true. 31. A turbine engine hot section is particularly susceptible to which kind of damage? Cracking. 32. Main bearing oil seals used with turbine engines are usually what type? S? Labyrinthine or carbon rubbing. 33. A condition known as hot streaking in turbine engines is caused by a partially clogged fuel nozzle. 34. What is the possible cause when a turbine engine indicates no change in power setting parameters, but oil temperature is high? Engine main bearing distress. 35. In the dual axial flow or twin spool compressor system, the first stage turbine drives the N2 compressor. 36. Where is the highest gas pressure in a turbojet engine? In the entrance of the burner section. 37. What is the primary factor which controls the pressure ratio of an axial flow compressor? Number of stages in compressor. 38. What is one purpose of the stator blades in the compressor section of a turbine engine? Control the direction of the airflow. 39. Which statement is true regarding jet engines? At the higher engine speeds, thrust increases rapidly with small increases in RPM. 40. What should be done initially if a turbine engine catches fire when starting? Turn off the fuel and continue engine rotation with the starter. 41. Compressor stall is caused by a high angle of attack airflow through the first stages of compression. 42. Hot section inspections for many modern turbine engines are required on a time or cycle basis. 1. Accumulation of contaminants in the compressor of a turbojet engine reduces aerodynamic efficiency of the blades. 2. Two common methods for removing dirt deposits from turbojet engine compressor blades are a fluid wash and an abrasive grit blast. Regarding the above statements, both number 1 and number 2 are true. 43. One function of the nozzle diaphragm in a turbine engine is to direct the flow of gases to strike the turbine blades at the desired angle. 44. Some engine manufacturers of twin-spool gas turbine engines identify turbine discharge pressure in their maintenance manuals as Part 7. 45. During inspection, turbine engine components exposed to high temperatures may only be marked with such materials as allowed by the manufacturer. These materials generally include 1. Layout dye. 2. Commercial felt tip marker. 4. Chalk. 1, 2, and 4. 46. Reduced blade vibration and improved airflow characteristics in gas turbines are brought about by shrouded turbine rotor blades. 47. The diffuser section of a jet engine is located between the compressor section and the burner section. 48. Which of the following types of combustion sections are used in aircraft turbine engines? Multiple can-annular and canannular. 49. The two types of centrifugal compressor impellers are single entry and double entry. 50. The stator vanes in an axial flow compressor convert velocity energy into pressure energy. 51. In an axial flow compressor, one purpose of the stator vanes at the discharge end of the compressor is to straighten the airflow and eliminate turbulence. 52. In which section of a turbojet engine is the jet nozzle located? Exhaust. 53. What is the function of the inlet guide vane assembly on an axial flow compressor? Directs the air into the first stage rotor blades at the proper angle. 54. Anti-icing of jet engine air inlets is commonly accomplished by engine bleed air ducted through the critical areas. 55. A purpose of the shrouds on the turbine blades of an axial flow engine is to reduce vibration. 56. Who establishes the recommended operating time between overhauls, TBO, of a turbine engine used in general aviation? The engine manufacturer. 57. Severe rubbing of turbine engine compressor blades will usually cause galling. 58. A weak fuel-to-air mixture along with normal airflow through a turbine engine may result in a lean die-out. 59. A cool-off period prior to shutdown of a turbine engine is accomplished in order to allow the turbine wheel to cool before the case contracts around it. 60. What is meant by a shrouded turbine? The turbine blades are shaped so that their ends form a band or shroud. 61. In which type of turbine engine combustion chamber is the case and liner removed and installed as one unit during routine maintenance? Can. 62. In a gas turbine engine, combustion occurs at a constant pressure. 63. Hot spots in the combustion section of a turbojet engine are possible indicators of malfunctioning fuel nozzles. 64. Who establishes mandatory replacement times for critical components of turbine engines? The engine manufacturer. 65. Standard sea level pressure is 29.92 inch Hg. 66. The blending of blades and vanes in a turbine engine should be performed parallel to the length of the blade using smooth contours to minimize stress points. 67. The turbine section of a jet engine drives the compressor section. 68. The exhaust section of a turbine engine is designed to impart a high exit velocity to the exhaust gases. 69. Hot spots on the tail cone of a turbine engine are possible indicators of a malfunctioning fuel nozzle or a faulty combustion chamber. 70. What is the purpose of the dump valve used on aircraft gas turbine engines? The fuel is quickly cut off to the nozzles and the manifolds are drained, preventing fuel boiling off as a result of residual engine heat. 71. Which of the following variables affect the inlet air density of a turbine engine? 1. Speed of the aircraft. 4. Altitude of the aircraft. 5. Ambient temperature. 1, 4, 5. 72. What type igniter plug is used in the low-tension ignition system of an aircraft turbofan engine? Self-ionizing or shunted gap type plug. 73. The pressure of supersonic air as it flows through a divergent nozzle decreases. 74. Three types of turbine blades are impulse reaction and impulse reaction. 75. Using standard atmospheric conditions, the standard sea level temperature is 59 degrees Fahrenheit. 76. Which statements are true regarding aircraft engine propulsion? 1. An engine-driven propeller imparts a relatively small amount of acceleration to a large mass of air. 2. Turbojet and turbofan engines impart a relatively large amount of acceleration to a smaller mass of air. 1, 2. 77. The non-rotating axial flow compressor airfoils in an aircraft gas turbine engine are called stator vanes. 78. What is the proper starting sequence for a turbojet engine? Starter, ignition, fuel. 79. The Brayton cycle is known as the constant pressure cycle. 80. Stator blades in the compressor section of an axial flow turbine engine decrease the air velocity and prevent swirling. 81. The pressure of subsonic air as it flows through a convergent nozzle decreases. In a dual axial flow compressor, the first stage turbine drives N2 compressor. The basic gas turbine engine is divided into two main sections, the cold section and the hot section. 1. The cold section includes the engine inlet, compressor, and turbine sections. 2. The hot section includes the combustor, diffuser, and exhaust sections. Regarding the above statements, neither number 1 nor number 2 is true. 82. The recurrent ingestion of dust or other fine airborne particulates into a turbine engine can result in erosion damage to the compressor and turbine sections. 83. What is the profile of a turbine engine compressor blade? A reduced blade tip thickness. 84. An exhaust cone placed aft of the turbine in a jet engine will cause the pressure in the first part of the exhaust duct to increase and the velocity to decrease. 85. When starting a turbine engine, a hung start is indicated if the engine fails to reach idle RPM. 86. Which of the following engine variables is the most critical during turbine engine operation? Turbine inlet temperature. 87. A turbine engine compressor which contains vanes on both sides of the impeller is a double-entry centrifugal compressor. 88. An advantage of the axial flow compressor is its high peak efficiency. 89. If the RPM of an axial flow compressor remains constant, the angle of attack of the rotor blades can be changed by changing the velocity of the airflow. 90. The highest heat-to-metal contact in a jet engine is the turbine inlet guide vanes. 91. What must be done after the fuel control unit has been replaced on an aircraft gas turbine engine? Retrim the engine. 92. If, during inspection at engine overhaul, ball or roller bearings are found to have magnetism but otherwise have no defects, they must be degaussed before use. 93. Which of the following factors affect the thermal efficiency of a turbine engine? 1. Turbine inlet temperature. 2. Compression ratio. 5. Turbine and compressor efficiency. 1, 2, 5. 94. What are the two basic elements of the turbine section in a turbine engine? Stator and rotor. 95. Some high-volume turboprop and turbojet engines are equipped with two-spool or split compressors. When these engines are operated at high altitudes, the low-pressure rotor will increase in speed as the compressor load decreases in the lower density air. 96. Which of the following influences the operation of an automatic fuel control unit on a turbojet engine? Burner pressure. 97. Dirt particles in the air being introduced into the compressor of a turbine engine will form a coating on all but which of the following? Turbine blades. 98. Why do some turbine engines have more than one turbine wheel attached to a single shaft? To extract more power from the exhaust gases than a single wheel can absorb. 99. The compressor stators in a gas turbine engine act as diffusers to decrease the velocity of the gas flow. 100. The velocity of supersonic air as it flows through a divergent nozzle increases. 101. Continued or excessive heat and centrifugal force on turbine engine rotor blades is likely to cause creep. 102. The fan rotational speed of a dual-axial compressor forward fan engine is the same as the low-pressure compressor. 103. Turbine nozzle diaphragms located on the upstream side of each turbine wheel are used in the gas turbine engine to increase the velocity of the heated gases flowing past this point. 104. When the leading edge of a first-stage turbine blade is found to have stress rupture cracks, which of the following should be suspected? Over-temperature condition. 105. Generally, when starting a turbine engine, the starter should be disengaged after the engine has reached self-accelerating speed. 106. What is meant by a double-entry centrifugal compressor? A compressor with vanes on both sides of the impeller. 107. The abbreviation Part 7 used in turbine engine terminology means the total pressure at station number 7. 108. What is the function of the stator vane assembly at the discharge end of a typical axial flow compressor? To straighten airflow to eliminate turbulence. 1. Welding and straightening of turbine engine rotating airfoils does not require special equipment. 2. Welding and straightening of turbine engine rotating airfoils is commonly recommended by the manufacturer. Regarding the above statements, neither number 1 nor number 2 is true. 109. What are the two functional elements in a centrifugal compressor? Impeller and diffuser. 110. The purpose of a bleed valve, located in the beginning stages of the compressor in an aircraft gas turbine engine, is to vent some of the air overboard to prevent a compressor stall. 111. When starting a turbine engine, a hot start is indicated if the exhaust gas temperature exceeds specified limits. 112. The velocity of subsonic air as it flows through a convergent nozzle increases. 113. Which two elements make up the axial flow compressor assembly? Rotor and stator. 114. Where do stress rupture cracks usually appear on turbine blades? Across the leading or trailing edge at a right angle to the edge length. 115. What turbine engine section provides for proper mixing of the fuel and air? Combustion section.